Hey guys, what's going on? It's me, Dead Gremlin, and I'm back. Today we're doing another comic book review of a book I just read today. It's called Bleed Them Dry, which is a fantastic title. Like, I don't even think I saw a cover, I just saw the name and I clicked on it and I was like, what is that? And I ordered it. And I got it today, blazed through it. So let's get into it. Let's talk about what I thought about Bleed Them Dry, which is a comic book put out by Vault Comics. It is written by Eliot Rahal, art by Dike Ruan, and colored by Miquel Muerto, and lettered by World. Well, first let's start with the covers. So the biggest draw, I feel like, of this book are the covers. They're really striking and cool. There's a really cool imagery on the book. There's one where it's a katana and the reflection of these SWAT dudes in the blade. There's one where he's standing in front of a moon and the bad guy, his face is in the moon. The covers are super effective. They got me to want to buy the book. I saw Ninja Vampire called Bleed Them Dry, dude with a katana. In my head, I just start imagining these scenarios of, you know, a ninja cutting up vampires and he's a vampire and he can, you know, bite someone and then he does like a sick combo where he bites someone and then slices another vampire's head off. And I was like, the possibilities are endless. And then the interior art is good. The artist is, I'm not familiar with their previous work, so I'm not already a fan. The demon is here. I'm not like already a fan, so I'm just going into it objectively. I think that they are very good at drawing faces. I think they're very appealing. The artist's anatomy is really good. I like the way that they draw the city shots of the buildings. It's very brushly. It's very brushy, and it gives the neon feel of a cyberpunk city. Oh my god. Why do you only do this when I have my chair here? I think I wish I had gotten more from the environment. I think the shots of the buildings are pretty, but I wish we got more scenes of them in the streets, walking around in this environment. I wish I had gotten more examples of the cyberpunk city location, because the idea of a futuristic city inhabited by vampires and humans, and maybe you could show the seedy underbelly of vampire criminals and you know, there's so many possibilities, and I feel like we didn't get much of that. I mean, it is a 6-issue series, so it is limited. It's got a, you know, a beginning and an end. It's not ongoing, even though the name Bleed Them Dry about ninja vampires, I would want a book that was that forever, and that would be awesome. Like, I feel like there are just like endless possibilities, and you've got that name. Don't waste that name. That should be an ongoing forever. We should have 600 issues of Bleed Them Dry. In terms of storytelling, I wish when the main character, Toyo, who is our protagonist, he's on all the covers, when he appears for the first time, it's kind of a small panel at the bottom of the page and he's just there. I'm a sucker for big splash page moments, like the main ninja vampire character that's on all the covers. He should have a full page. He should have a 2-page spread where he's busting in with his katana. Maybe he's got his fangs out and he's dripping and his eyes are red, and you're like, oh shit, you turn the page and that's what's on the next page, and you're like, oh shit, this is gonna get nuts. And instead, in the book, he's just like at the bottom of the page, and you're like, oh, he's here. That was something that, like, if you have the premise of Ninja Vampire, I want you to go full out, you know, balls to the wall, fun, just like him chopping vampire heads off. Like, you can also have a cool story in there, but if the main draw is ninja vampires, I want to see that, you know, like, that's what I'm here for. So the art is good. I just wish it was a little bit more in your face, and when I'm reading a comic, it has to have some kind of Jack Kirby-ism, where it's coming at you, it's punchy, you're feeling the art as you're reading it, and a lot of comic artists I love inhabit that Jack Kirby-ism, and this art was good, but I wish it had been just a little bit more in your face and fun. If you read this book and you like the art and you're just gushing about it, I can see that too, because the anatomy is great, the faces are fantastic, it is good art.
Your art was the prettiest art of all the art.
Like, it wasn't like the covers are amazing, you open it and it's just crap, which happens a lot. It was good. The story, again, much like the art, is fine. The story takes place in the future. The main character is Detective Holloway. She is investigating a series of killings. Somebody's killing vampires in the city. In this world, vampires have become like just normal, like you hang out with them, and they're just like, you know, in society, and it's cool. All these vampires are getting killed and people are upset about it. And so she's investigating it with her partner, who is a vampire, a very, you know, anime villain character. He looks like Pegasus from Yu-Gi-Oh! Pegasus is the epitome of villains, in my opinion. Pegasus at the top, and then every villain falls below him, and everyone's really just trying to strive to be as good as Pegasus. You discover that this isn't spoilers. If you don't want to know anything and you just saw the cover and that's it, then leave. If you want to read it for yourself, go and then come back. I'll be waiting for you. So it turns out that her partner is the one that's been killing these vampires and gaining their power. Then our main character, our ninja vampire badass from the covers, shows up and he saves the detective from being killed when she discovers that he is the one killing all these vampires. And then our story just goes on from there, and she helps the main character fight vampires, and they clash with the villain. And it's a pretty basic story. I think there's some moments, there's like a vampire hunting task force in the middle of the book, and they're the coolest part. I wish we had gotten more with them. I wish some of the action scenes had been more involved. They're very American comics where you meet the bad guy and then there's a panel on a panel and you kind of infer that a fight took place and it's just like one punch, another punch. Man, he got me. And you're like, oh, that's just the pace. There's only 6 issues, so they don't have enough time to just go into every action sequence like you would want from a ninja vampire book. It's almost like if this was a manga called Bleed Them Dry, it would be insane. Like, that's what I would want from this. And the story of the book is pretty simple. I would even go as far as to simplify the story even more so that you get to extend those sequences. There's a big fight with the villain at the end that I think really needed to be punched up and more impactful. I think Toyo needed a lot more development. I think Holloway is actually the main character of the story, which is cool. I love things like that, like the Dread movie, where the side character really is the main character and they get the character development. Toyo had the least scenes in the book, so I really think that he needed more. I would have spiced up the action sequences. But as a sit down and just read it, and like I bought the trade in all 6 issues, it's fun. Like, you have a good time reading it. It's not like, oh, this is terrible, but you're like, oh, I wish there was more. Like, the premise is so good and the covers are so good and the title is so good. At least I wanted it to be the coolest comic book. There are comics where I'm like, this is a comic book, and it felt very much like it was wanting to be a TV show. And, you know, that's fine, but I like books that really, really stay true to the medium of comics and take it to far places. So it's pretty good. Like, go check it out, go read it. It's fun. Yeah, I don't have a rating system because it's so subjective that it's like, if I was like, it's a 7, it'd be like, okay, I don't know what that even means. That's just a number. You kind of just go read it. If you like it, comment. If you have another book that's fun and cool that just came out, let me know. Someone commented about David Rubin's Hero, which I'm totally gonna find it and read it. I just saw this book and I was like, Ninja Vampires, gotta read that. Thank you guys so much. I hope you liked this review. I'm excited to do more of these. And subscribe, look at my Etsy shop, look at my comics. Also, the Kickstarter for my comic book, Blood Force Trauma issue 3 is up. It might be over by the time I upload this, I don't know, but if it is up, go check it out. And the Demon's back, so I gotta go. But yeah, have a good one and stay safe. We'll see you next time. Cool.